Once upon a time in a certain country, there was a princess, the daughter of a king, famous for her extremely beautiful beauty. However, something very special was that this princess had very few words and few words. It and number 39 also very stingy to say. Except for truly necessary cases, she rarely took the initiative to talk to anyone. One day, when the princess reached the age to get married, the king immediately posted signs everywhere. Allow all the boys in the country, whether they are rich or poor, whether they live in the countryside or in the city, as long as they can make their daughter say 3 sentences. He will immediately choose that person as his son-in-law. However, if you can and number 39 finish it within a day, you will have to be beaten 100 times and then sent back. The news that the king was choosing a son-in-law was immediately spread to every corner of the country. From everywhere many young men came to try their luck. Among those who came to ask for a challenge, there was no shortage of princely sons. However, the results were all failures, and in the end, they had to receive a beating that was so painful that their flesh and blood fell and they left. Because of that, the royal family still hasn't and #39 been able to recruit a suitable son-in-law for many years. One day, from somewhere, a rather young man appeared, looking very miserable on the outside, and also looked quite handsome. Stupid guy, his name is Orphan. He went to the royal citadel gate to apply for the trial. But because he looked so disheveled, the guards didn't and #39 want to let him in. However, the sign was posted, following the king and number 39's orders, so they had to accept him inside. As usual, someone came to take the orphan into the palace, and after letting him carefully read the new notice, let him stay in the yard right in front of the princess and number 39's floor. They will also send someone to inform the princess so she knows how to prepare. At the same time, there was also a pre-arranged group of mandarins sitting strictly behind the curtain, whose main task was to monitor and confirm whether or not the princess spoke. The incident took place as follows. That morning, people saw Mo Koi entering the yard. He had no intention of thinking of a way to contact the princess, but only focused on taking care of his own lunch. He went everywhere asking to borrow pots, then asked for firewood, then washed rice, then found some stones to set up the stove right on the doorstep. However, he only picked up 2 stones for the stove, but because the bottom of the pot was round, the pot he placed on it fell over several times in a row. Every time the pot fell, Mo Koi was not discouraged. He patiently adjusted the position of the stone and then placed the pot on it again, but no matter how much he prepared, when he placed the pot on top, it still wobbled. About to collapse. At that time, the princess was also sitting upstairs and looking down, when she saw the young man constantly struggling with 2 stones. No matter how many times he placed them, the pot could not be stable at all. She kept looking and felt very annoyed. When she saw that the pot was tilting again, ready to fall, she immediately said, "Find another stone and put it there." Hearing the princess and number 39's words, Mo Koi listened, didn't and #39 say a word and went looking for another stone. Another stone returned to the millet. At this time, he placed the pot on it to stabilize it. Then he put the washed rice into the pot. Next he struck a flint. But he kept fighting and fighting again countless times but still could N and #39 Because he kept placing tinder on the stone, even if a spark popped out, it would not be able to penetrate the tinder. He just sat there striking the flint until he was full and then got bored, but it still didn't and #39 T work, because every time he could and #39 T strike a fire, he only focused on preparing the stone and didn't and #39 T prepare the tinder. From upstairs, he watched. Down, the princess also felt feverish. On the 20th hit, she could N and #39 T help but leaned down and said, "Quickly put that tinder down. Orphan is like a machine. Listen." At the princess and number 39's words, he adjusted the position of the tinder. Sure enough, when he changed the position, he tried to ignite it again and found it immediately ignited. He didn't and #39 T even open his mouth to say a word, he didn't and #39 T even say thank you, he just continued to diligently continue his cooking. After a while, the rice and soup were both cooked. Mo Koi turned the stove to cook another pot of tea. When the water boiled, all that remained was to pour the water from the pot into the gourd he usually carried. Follow me. The mouth of the gourd is quite small, and the mouth of the kettle is very wide, so when he pours the water it all leaks out. He tried again to prepare to avoid spilling the tea so as not to waste it, but every time he tried it was a waste of time, and the tea still kept spilling out. Seeing that, the princess was also very upset and said, "Bring a chopstick and put it there." And Mo Koi also bowed her head and did as the princess said. Sure enough, the tea followed the tip of the chopstick and flowed neatly into the pot. At that time, the mandarin whose duty was to monitor the incident immediately came to report back to the king. The mandarin said, "Your Majesty, I have finished taking notes. The princess has actually told that young man for the 3rd time." The king was extremely surprised and immediately ordered someone to bring Mo Koi to see him. But when he saw that his clothes were all messy and sloppy, he was not very pleased. However, thinking about how many people came to make my daughter unable to speak, if this person could pass, she must have some outstanding talent. Furthermore, being a king does not allow 2 words. In the end, the king also decided to let Mo Koi marry his daughter. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.